Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting episode of the Stash Report from the Stash Project. Today's December 15th, 2017, and we're 10 days until St. Nicholas brings you all the model kits you wanted all year long. Right? No? Maybe? Anyway, we have a couple of kit releases that have come out this week, as well as the February kit announcements for Hasegawa. Still no Revel November kits. Talking to one of our local hobby shops around here, and he said that actually that Hobbico had emailed him and some other people to basically entirely replace their November orders. Something happened, and they would you please reorder your November stuff, because it's been a long, hard 2017 for the folks in Illinois there at Hobbico, and it just doesn't seem like going in 2018 is going to get much better. So we shall see what we see there, but yikes. So anyway, the February kits from Hasegawa are a reissue of the Honda Civic Fario. That is the four-door, the civilian streetcar. So that run that we did about 4 or 5 months ago is sold out. They're going to reissue the Subaru Legacy RS. This is like the 1994, I believe it is, four-door Legacy. Now, you may recall they reissued the station wagon street trim, and they've got a whole heck of a lot of flashing light going on here with my overhead. I don't know what is going on. I noticed that in the last video. Man, I need to put a little extra light in here so that it's not so bad. But at any rate, let's see if that helps it, because it's got to be annoying to you guys watching it, and it's annoying to me because off behind the camera is where my video screen is, so I can see what I'm doing, and it's flickering in the background, so it's annoying me. But at any rate, the Legacy wagon was what got reissued in street trim. And then you may recall they've reissued the Legacy rally car, the sedan rally car, in several different liveries. Well, this is going to be the street civilian sedan, the RS sedan. So that kit has not been out possibly since the mid-1990s when it was done originally. I don't believe that the wagon and the sedan were ever reissued in their street trim. Now, they've been reissued as rally cars a couple times in there, but I don't think they've been reissued as street cars since way back when. So this pretty much goes back and reissues a lot of the original curbside 124 scale kits, because at this point, with the Legacy sedan being done and the wagon and the Galant being reissued earlier in the year, this are the foundational, if you will, classic, well, they're not classic cars now, they weren't back then. These are the foundational car kits that Hasegawa did that were Japanese in origin and curbside. You may recall that they did, of course, so we just talked about their reissuing the Jaguars. The Jaguar kits were full detail. And they also did I'm trying to think of what it is, because I have one. They also did a 328 GTB. And I think I also did something else. I'm trying to think of what it is. Oh, maybe they didn't. Maybe it's somebody else I'm thinking of. But at least did the 328 GTB back in the day as well. It's been reissued several times since then, because the one I'm looking at's a box from the late 2000s. I thought they did one other Ferrari kit. I know they did a 348, but that was a curbside. But at any rate, that 328 was done way back when in the 1980s as well, as a full detail kit. But these, again, the Legacy, the older Japanese curbside kits that were actually dual purpose kits, because again, the Legacy sedan and the Legacy rally car, pretty much the same kit, just swap it out. The stripped interior for the street interior, and the wheels and the suspension, or different things like that. They're going to reissue the Lancia Delta Integral 16 valve. This is also the street kit. This Delta has not been out for a real long time either. They just did the Delta Evolution here just recently. This is basically one body style model lower, if you will. The Delta, went for a number of years in the format that it was in. The Delta Evolution and the Evolution 2 were like the last of the Deltas that were built on that platform you're most familiar with, because obviously Hasegawa also did a whole bunch of rally cars based on it. Would later go on, of course, be the S4, the Super Delta, and all that stuff. But they've reissued, like I said, the Delta Evolution 2 street car. This is the Integral 16 valve, which was the car from like 2 seasons before. I think the Delta Evolution is like a 93. This is like technically like a 1991 Lancia Delta. So it gives you another option for street car building, Lancia Deltas. They're also going to reissue the Porsche 962C in the Advan livery. This is the 1989 Japanese Sports Car Prototype Series livery. I want to say they've already done this livery, and this is a reissue of a reissue already. But I have to go back and like dig, and I did not bother to do that because at this point there have been so many 962s done that I can't keep track of them all at this point. Also, the next in the line of the 124 scale F1 cars, they're going to reissue their Lola LC90 F1 car in 124 scale. This again would be the follow-up to the Zaxbyte car as far as the lineage of the driver, Agori Suzuki. This was the second, basically after the Zaxbyte ran that car that they couldn't even pre-qualify, let alone qualify. Zaxbyte kind of sort of dissolved, at least in its F1 builds. And so they went over to Lola, who ran this chassis with a Lamborghini power plant in it. Agori did podium at Suzuka, the racetrack, not Suzuki, his last name. And actually, it's a sort of an interesting story about the race itself between Suzuki finishing and a couple other people. It is one of, I think it's the only time since 1987 there was not a British or European driver on the podium in an F1 race. So kind of an interesting little backstory there. There are a couple of more of these F1 cars. There's a couple of Ferraris and things like that, but I don't know, again, how many of these they plan to reissue. These two, the Zaxbyte and the Lola, again, are all around this famous Japanese driver. So it'll be interesting to see what else they do with the series as time goes along. And then the last thing Hasegawa is going to do for February is the all-new tool Isuzu Gemini. We had mentioned this in one of the last videos about it being on a February release, but hadn't heard anything, so now we've heard for sure. What they've chosen to do for their first kit of this, because you know there'll be more than one, is do the Irmscher turbocharged version. So a little background behind the Isuzu Gemini Irmscher and why you would have any indication at all why you want to buy this kit. The Isuzu Gemini, of course, we got here as the Chevy Spectrum, and then the Geo Spectrum, was obviously a really dud of a car, a Econo box Japanese car. It's what everybody thinks about when they think about this car. I think the most powerful engine we could get in it was like 85 horsepower, and that made it just like every other Econo box in the 1990s that that fell out of these sort of dual relationships that were done with a lot of companies where they had invested heavily into a Japanese company, like Ford did with Mazda, or they just had partnerships with a Japanese company, like Chrysler did with Mitsubishi, or GM had with Toyota and Isuzu. So the excuse me, the Isuzu Gemini with the German-based Irmscher Turbo in it took the this was never available in the United States. So actually, you were outside of Japan, as far as I know. There's a few of them that have been imported here and there. But traditionally speaking, was not an export vehicle. Took this car up to 180 horsepower out of the factory without any boost, without tweaking the boost or doing anything else like that. And it had apparently German turbocharging causes me to have throat issues. This Irmscher turbocharger made the 0 to 60 speed less than 7 seconds, which doesn't sound like a whole heck of a lot these days, but remember, this is 1991 we're talking about, when we still had not actually really gotten any type of performance vehicle out of anywhere other than maybe the ZR1 Corvette. This would be right as the body style of the Camaro was changing from the second gen to the third gen, or well, not the second, of the F bodies anyway. So you're going out of the IROX and into the very first of the LT1 powered V8 Camaros. I'm put to you this way: a 180 horsepower turbocharged 4-door, basically less than just right around 2,000 pound Japanese car has better acceleration in a 0 to 60 sense than an IROC Z, than any V6 Mustang or Camaro that was done, even the new 93 and up F bodies. Uh, you know, it's going to waste a bunch of vintage Corvettes from the 1970s. Remember, Corvettes in the 1970s got really throttled down, and they were only doing about 180, 190 horsepower as well. It's a speedy-ass little car is what it is. There's also another version, which I'm pretty sure will be the one that comes after this, called the Isuzu Gemini ZZ. That had the same specifications as far as the engine goes in it, but was also tuned by Lotus as far as the handling package went. That is the car that would later get turned into a three-door race car as far as the JTCC seasons were concerned. So, is it attractive car? No. There's a history to this, that the same guy who did the Piazza as well as the 117C, which are very flowy and fancy, if you will, Isuzus, did this car as well. However, before the design was officially locked by Isuzu, GM's engineers and designers trampled into the situation, and the ugly four-door box that you get is entirely, almost 99% General Motors' fault. They wrecked this design, and for a long time, the Italian designer who had worked with Isuzu would not even admit that he had anything to do with the project. He was so ashamed of what they had done to his car. So, be interesting to see what the Isuzu Gemini would have looked like back in the day, had it not been for brand marketing and you know, world global designing and all that crap that GM foisted upon us in the 1990s. They had made fast Corvettes and Camaros. I don't think anybody would care if GM was alive right now. So yeah, there you go. There's your February Hasegawa releases. There's basically, I'm going to pick up the Lancia for another Delta, and of course I'm going to get the Gemini. I kind of am on the fence about the 124 scale F1 cars. Don't do F1 in the first place, and 124 scale is going to be a really tiny little F1 car, because a lot of people are, oh, well, F1's 120th scale, it'll look stupid in my cabinet. You know what, 120 scale F1 cars are about a 124 scale car kit. F1 cars are itty-bitty little things, and having to be 124 scale makes it even more itty-bitty. I don't know what the kits look like as far as the parts go, so we'll wait till the Zaxpeed comes out next month and take a look at the parts and see if it looks interesting enough to pick up along with this one. Because it would be fun just to do Gory's F1 cars, but not fun enough to act like, oh, man, I gotta get these, because it's not quite that far. So like I said, we have a few things on release here. I think it's like 4 kits or so. So this will be a real quick, actually it's 3? Is it really only 3 kits? No, it's 4. Something did not get up. There we go. Let's say something didn't get updated with the last download I did. So there we go. So 4, 3 are Oshima, 1 is Hasegawa. The Hasegawa kit for the month of December, or one of the ones, because there'll be more than this. The first one out is the Subaru 360 race car. This is for the 1964 Japan Grand Prix. It is the winning car in the T1 class, which of course was for very, very small displacement cars, because obviously the Subaru 360 is sort of the Japanese version of the Volkswagen Beetle, even known as a people's car. And really does look like they just sort of bloated out and made even rounder a Beetle in terms of what the car actually looks like. It's rear engine, air-cooled, the whole 9 yards. So it really is a Beetle, as done by the Japanese in the 1960s. Although technically speaking, you know, it's a lot of inspired by, obviously, the Beetle was, you know, made first, but was still being made at the time. So they kind of look like each other a little bit, but not. I think the Subaru 360 thing nickname is the Ladybug, so even has the whole, you know, bug thing. So there's that. You get like a new hood, a new engine cover, different wheels, and obviously the decals and things like that. But other than that, just pretty much just standard 360. Not a bad kit in its own right, just a teeny tiny little car. And then we have 3 reissues from Oshima. Well, I should say 1 reissue and 2 rebrandings. The reissue is the initial D AE86 Truno Project D version. This is the second of the kits as far as our grading of the initial D AE86 Truno kits. Remember, the 86 Truno Volume 1 is a stock Truno with, with the engine parts, but stock Truno. The Project D is the middle one. It has a bunch of optional engine parts, ITB and intake and things like that. You get to. They also has a visible timing chain style front engine cover and things like that. But it's not the not the Volume 37. The Volume 37 is the top one as far as the parts content goes. It has different seats, an entire roll cage, even more optional engine parts, and it comes with everything. So you can build anything from a stock to a complete and total caged drift car, and it's all basically all these kits are the exact same price. So. But if you're looking for an initial D kit and you want to start playing around with Trunos, this is always a good option because you can build it a little more topped up than just a stock Truno. And, they got to reissue these things pretty much every 6 months or so because they constantly sell out. Still a very, very popular car. And for the month of December, in the Tune model car lineup, because these are going to be the 2 kits for that, the model car stuff's going to be the new vans, you have a reissue of the Subaru BRZ STI concept. Not written up as a concept this time, because there's a couple of things I believe overall that are missing from this, at least from the box art build, that were there in the original concept build. I believe the parts are still in there, but basically, other than the wheels and having like a front lip spoiler type of deal, it's pretty much a stock BRZ. There is no engine in this kit, like some of the BRZs have engines. They usually say with engine or something like that. But this one is a curbside. It always has been. And again, just a reissue. And then the other Tune model car lineup reissue is the fabulous Tuning House Nissan Elgrin VIP van. So again, a bunch of aero parts and a new, well, not new, this is a reissue, but a different set of wheels. Make up what you get here. Obviously, you can build 3/4 of a stock Elgrin here because you don't have to put the aero panels on. It does come with a stock Elgrin grille and whatnot, but you do not get stock wheels, and because the interior in this is pretty much bone factory stock. All this kit is, in terms of its being fabulous, is the external pieces, not the actual. Nothing interior is different about that. And that, guys, is pretty much it for this video. We're still waiting on Fujimi stuff. We're still waiting, of course, on about 4 Hasegawa kits for this month. A couple, well, there'll be one brand new tool, the Pro Box and Succeed Toyota vans. Those are the new tools for Hasegawa for the 4th quarter, and also will be the other releases for the month of December. There are about 4 or 5 reissues from Hasegawa, from Oshima as well, I mean. We're waiting on the 2 B-Max kits, which ought to be out any day. They're out in Hong Kong already. The Meng kit is supposed to come out tomorrow in Hong Kong, so we'll keep an eye on that. But again, it won't be out in Japanese or American or UK hobby shop probably until January or February, just because you're going to need that transit time, and Meng doesn't have a lot of distributors because they do mostly military stuff, so selling car stuff is a little bit dicey because you get places that are, military focused that are carrying Meng, and they're like, oh, by the way, we have a Jeep. And they're like, oh, military Jeep. No, a 2010 10th anniversary Jeep. Who do I sell this to? All my hobby shops dealing in military. So we're interested to see how long it takes that kit from the time, like I said, if it comes out tomorrow on time for real, it'll be interesting to see how long it takes to get it distributed all over the place and not just in China itself. We have 2 more kits out of round 2 to get out this month, and well, we still have the 2 kits from November, and then all of the December stuff from Revell. So who knows what's going on with that in terms of their distribution. So it sounds like things got a little hinky around Thanksgiving over there. We'll have to see how that works out. Fortunately, there's nothing urgent on there as far as kits go, unless you're really, really into G-body cutlasses and you're tuning in for another week of being told you still can't have an F3X show car. But yeah, that's it. Good luck on the drawing for the Speedwagon. And real quick before I go, because they're sitting here looking at me, I don't really feel like doing a whole out-of-the-box video for this. I got 2 more gravity colors. These were supposed to come with the last order we did on the live show, but they were out, so they just came in a couple days ago. This is the AMG GT3 Selenite Gray Magno. This is basically the gray color that you need to either build the presentation box of the brand new Tamiya kit, or there's a set of decals that will be coming out in December. This is something else I didn't mention. I forgot to grab the graphic. Shame on me, but the next livery decals out of Studio 27, other than the carbon fiber, which we talked about last week, will be the number 29 HTP Motorsports 2016 Nuremberg car, and that is your second place finisher. Meaning you can, when mid-December rolls around, because those decals will probably be out in another 5 days or so, you'll be able to build the first, second, and fourth place car. So what we're looking for now at the end of December, come on, Studio 27, is gummy bear decals. For the people who don't follow GT3 racing at all, the other HTP Motorsports car that finished in third is sponsored by Haribo, or however you pronounce that, the people that make those gummy bears. So, gummy bear decals. That's an easy one to do. That's a black car, so you don't have to worry about paint for that. The matte gray, you need that for the number 29 car. And then I also had ordered this. This would be interesting to see if anything ever comes of this, because of course it's for a very specific car, and we'll see if the decals for this ever come out. This is the burnt copper. If I can get this to focus, I've got too much kits going on in the background there. Come on, there we go. Burnt copper orange. This, of course, is the Battlefield 1 blank pane scheme from the 24-hour Spa. We got really two issues with this, and one is the fact that the livery doesn't exist for it, and two, you need that mythical second Tamiya kit to do the correct headlights for it, because it has the LED projector headlights rather than the twin beams that come in the kit. So there's also that issue to worry about. Anyway, guys, that's it for sure, and we'll see you guys